so let's get into this reading. So I'll start with how Mew is feeling first. I feel like that's only the right thing to do, is to start with Mew. So hang on, let me just, yeah, make sure that's not in reverse. Oh dear. Okay, we'll take that card. I didn't say anything, but I did say that we're talking about how Mew is feeling about golf, so we'll take that card. Alright. So how else is Mew Superset thinking about Golf Kanawat right now? We know he's off in NYC with his travel buddy, business partner, etc. Tulpacorn, but how is he actually feeling about golf? Oh, okay. Interesting. And what about one more card? One more. It's up to you, Goldie. Hello, by the way. I forgot to say hello. Yeah, so how is Mew Superset feeling about Golf Kanawat right now? So what cards have we got so far? Maybe we can work off of them. So we've got Ace of Swords. Hang on, where's my... We've got Ace of Swords and Four of Cups so far. So Ace of Swords, mental clarity, breakthroughs, new ideas, success, sharp mind, new conflict, and surgery. Interesting. That's an air card as well, by the way. So that could be Mew himself, you know, gaining the clarity we keep saying he may get this month. Well, possibly he's not being distracted right now, and he could be having a moment right there of clarity. Four of Cups. Four of Cups is a water card, obviously. Meditation, contemplation, apathy, re-evaluation, and disconnected. So perhaps his clarity is that he's feeling disconnected from golf right now. Or maybe he's re-evaluating his situation with golf right now. We really do need more than that, Goldie. We need at least one more card to kind of make more sense of this here. So what's Mew feeling Four of Cups about exactly? Is it about golf himself? Is it about his relationship with golf, the possibility of reunion with golf? What's this Four of Cups energy about? What's this? Oh. Judgment. Okay, Judgment, which is a fire card. So Judgment. Rebirth, inner calling. A new phase, absolution, reckoning, awakening, redemption, forgiveness, mercy. Interesting. So if there's anything he needs to forgive golf for, he's possibly thinking about it. Or if it's the other way around and it's something golf needs to forgive Mew for, he's thinking about, I guess, offering that forgiveness, trying again. But the what caught my eye there was definitely the inner calling. That sounds very, very twin flame like that. Inner calling. Or even reckoning, awakening. That really matches with the Ace of Swords here about a breakthrough. or mental clarity. Interesting. Okay. Well, usually when we ask how Mew is feeling about golf, we have not got so many, what should I say, no man's land cards. I'm not sure. Like, what I said makes sense, but for some reason it just doesn't feel complete, that message. Maybe, so is this, I'll ask another question. So is this mental clarity and judgment or inner calling or forgiveness? What's this judgment card about, Goldie? Is it forgiveness that needs to be had between the two of them, or is it more like the inner calling? Is it more like Mew is finally seeing his intuition, or starting to pay attention to his intuition, starting to see the signs that the universe is screaming at him? What's this judgment card about? Whoa. These cards didn't show up. We've got two cards here though. And would you look at that? One of them is a Sagittarius. Okay, so we have Knight of Wands. Energy, passionate, inspired action, adventure, fearless, impulsiveness. That's a fire card. It's actually a Leo card as well. Yes, Leo card. And this card is Sagittarius, which is temperance. Balance, harmony, moderation, patience, being sensible, purpose, and finding meaning. Interesting. Okay. So if we got these two cards for the Judgment card, they were clarifiers. Usually the Temperance is about, well, balance and harmony. It's about making peace after a possible argument, or you could even link this to the forgiveness part of this card. So if there is something to forgive between the two, this Temperance card here kind of proves that it will be okay. Things will work out in the end. And funnily enough, you know, this is a Sagittarius card, but not just that. Golf gets the Temperance card a lot in his readings. It's like he is Temperance. Golf is Temperance. So, you know, if there is the possibility that it's about approaching him, this line, and he's feeling anxious or nervous about it, he really doesn't have to be, because Golf is mature, and back here loyal. So I think if Mew is at all feeling, you know, a little bit of cowardice, let's say, towards making amends or connecting with Golf again, he shouldn't, because Golf is already ready to welcome him with open arms, so to speak. Knight of Wands. Energy, passionate, inspired action, adventure, fearless, impulsiveness. Right, so this reckoning, awakening could be the sudden change that Mew's going to go through, and it's going to inspire him into action. Perhaps it will give him the courage to approach Golf again in the end. And like I said, you know, he's got nothing to worry about really, because Golf he's not going to turn him down. Or if it's not about that, if golf does turn him down for a job or something like that, it's not going to be on bad terms. It would be a calm discussion. They would be on good terms. They would be in harmony again. They would probably be back in their comfort level with each other, and they would be able to discuss things, you know, in a easy manner, so to speak. Yeah. Okay. So let's get some clarifiers for those. Honestly, guys, I'm still starting to feel like it maybe was a mistake to do the reading today. I don't know, there's something about it. Like, I don't know. Anyway, I've done it now, so that's all there is to it. We've done it now. Anyway, I will, at some point, I will come live again and tap into the other half, but I would rather do it when they're back at home, you know, when there's less distraction, etc. Okay, I was talking about the other half and I got shipped. Pretty fitting, right? They're off somewhere overseas, so that's pretty fitting. But that doesn't relate to any of these, so I'll put it there anyway, since I did pull it. But I don't know, like, yeah, I don't think it would relate to anything. Alright, so let's start asking now. So what's this Ace of Swords about, please, little deck? What's this Ace of Swords about, please? You can still see me in the cards, right, guys? Whoa! Something just feels off today, I'm telling you. Alright, anyway, 2 cards. Okay, so the Ace of Swords, we have Moon and Dog. That's interesting, isn't it? So that's inner emotions or intuition about a dog, about a friend, which, you know, usually the dog, we say the dog represents tool. So mental clarity, breakthroughs, sharp mind, new conflict. Yeah, well, this Ace of Swords, it could very well be that he's starting to wake up about him and Tool. It could be. But if we go back, because this was about how he was feeling about golf, it could also be he's starting to see the real emotion and the loyalty that he has for golf. It could be that as well. Alright, and what about this Four of Cups? What's this Four of Cups about, please, little deck? It could even be this could be about golf too, because remember golf got the dog. So it could also be that he's starting to see the true feelings that golf has for him, you know, his loyalty to him, perhaps, as well. Anyway, what's this Four of Cups about, please, little deck? What's this Four of Cups about? Okay. Commitment, contract. So Mew is rethinking. Mew is rethinking or reevaluating or feeling disconnected or even feeling apathetic towards a commitment or a contract. Now, even though this is a reading about golf, this could be the other. Because, like I said, yeah, feeling real emotions, what his real emotions are towards his friend, and possibly reevaluating this whole relationship altogether. It could be. because this is an air card after all, so yeah, doesn't really relate to golf. It has to be either him or tall, so the dog most likely is tall. The ring, well, this card, it is a water card, but it's not directed to Scorpio. So it may be more his water side, being a Pisces. There isn't Pisces on the card, but they are a water sign, so it's related to that. Let's see about this Judgment card before I say any more, because you really do need all the cards to connect it all together in the end. So what's this Judgment card about, please, little deck? Woman. What did I tell you guys? Usually when it comes to these readings. Anyway, woman. So, fire. The Judgment card is a fire sign card. And also Pluto. Both of those things relate to Golf, because Pluto through Scorpio and fire through Sagittarius. And woman. Divine feminine, as we like to say. Or even, you know, the more submissive one in the dynamics. So definitely this Judgment card is about golf. Or if you want to go there and say this is the significant other at this current time, you know, the current fiance, it could be about that too. But either way, there's a reckoning, there's an awakening, there's a redemption, possible forgiveness, rebirth. There's a change coming. There's something big coming regarding who this woman is. I think it's golf. I'm going to think it's golf, because especially if this dog is tall. Golf. Anyway, let's see what Temperance says. What's this Temperance card about, little deck? You know, even though they are traveling overseas right now in NYC, etc., this card, since, you know, I'm doing this about Mew and Golf right now, this card could even be longing. It could be longing. Especially if it was a certain mosquito who attacked those beautiful lips recently. Anyway, what's this Temperance card about, little deck? What's this Temperance card about? Maybe I feel uneasy today just because of this, because like I said, Mew and Tola living the life somewhere in NYC right now. It's just kind of throwing a lot of confusion into the connection, so to speak. Because yeah, while I was doing the portrait reading and other things, it just felt a little bit off. Like this, I felt really thing about doing this reading today, as I told you at the beginning, guys, but then it was almost like as soon as I started getting into it, something changed. Some feeling changed. Like, I don't want to sound weird, but it was almost like I was having an out-of-body moment. Like, I was there, and I was talking to you guys, and I was explaining the cards, but at the same time it was like, am I really doing this? Anyway, I'm not feeling that way now, so it's changed again. I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyway, So the card we got here is stars. Stars, dreams, hopes, manifestations. So the Temperance card is what? Excuse me. I think I need to get a drink. That's the second time I've coughed. The Temperance card is possibly about what Mew hopes will happen between him and Golf in the future. That they will be back in good terms, back in harmony, balanced, etc. Something like that. So, dreams with Temperance. Perhaps you could even say, in general, he dreams of being with Golf again. And the Knight of Wands. What's the Knight of Wands about, please, little deck? Oh, wow. I was going to say, as soon as you give me a card, I'll go get a drink. The Knight of Wands. We got Scythe. So the Knight of Wands is an air fire card. Also, as I said, it has Leo attached to it. The Scythe. Well, that's in contradiction to this card, for sure. So I suppose this is, again, I'm jumping to conclusions because the Scythe can also just mean making a sharp decision. It doesn't have to mean cutting someone or something off. And if I go by our reading from last month, the cutting off was not happening on Golf's side, that's for sure. So, yeah, maybe again, you know, all this, well, not all this, just these two. This is Tull, possibly Tull again down here. And this is Golf. Possibly. So it could be that Mew is dreaming to be with Golf again, or manifests being with Golf again in whatever form. But in order to do that, he has to make some sharp decisions or cut someone or something out of his life. And this being the clarifier for the Knight of Wands, which is energy, passionate, inspired action, adventure, fearless, and impulsiveness. So it could even be about, you know, stop traveling so much and then you'll have more opportunity to possibly be with Golf. It could be something like that as well. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Just a minute, guys. I'm just going to get a drink and then we'll see what Golf is feeling with the Van Gogh deck. In fact, I might bring this out. I'll probably feel like a drink again. Okay, yeah. Alright, so we'll leave it at that for how Mew is feeling for now. Of course, we'll do the oracles later, but for now, we'll leave it at that. So yeah, he may have his distractions right now, being, you know, tools in his face and they're living it up right now, but somehow Golf still makes it into his mind, into his thinking there. A few times he did with the Temperance card, with the Woman card, Judgment card. It would seem that, like us Waanjai think, he is still very much soul connected to Golf, and he has, you know, signs surrounding him possibly on a daily basis, ones that we don't even know about. You know, the ones we see are only some of them. There could be many more that, you know, he sees and really wonders, like, why does this guy keep popping up in his head? Why can't he move on? Why can he not just forget that chapter in his life? If that is, if he wants to, you know, if he really is serious about this thing with Tull, perhaps he's feeling a little bit like, why me? I think I've said that before, but if it's the other way around, if he is still talking to Golf and he's stuck in this situation by any chance, then definitely, yeah, he's distracted at times and having a good time at times, but he's always got, in the back of his mind, he's always got his one and only that he's thinking about, dreaming about spending time with one day. Freely. Alright, now, where's my Van Gogh deck? Up here. Okay, hello there. What's your name again? Gully. Hello. I haven't used you for so long. Whoa! No. Not just yet, Gully. Let me, come on, be courteous and let me finish my introduction first. So, how are you going, Gully? I'm sorry I haven't seen you for a while. So, we are here to ask you today about how Golf Kanawat is currently feeling about Mu Superset, if at all. How is Golf Kanawat feeling about Mu Superset? Now, if that card that came out before is meant to come out, it'll come out again. That's what I believe. Okay, so what is Golf Kanawat currently feeling about Mu Superset, Gully? I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings by not taking that card earlier. It just felt too soon. Please understand. So how is Golf Kanawat feeling about Mu Superset today? Oh. Okay. We got King of Cups. Oh, there goes my husband's phone again. Alright, well none of you are really talking to me, so I'll go and put that on charge again for now. I know, guys, I need a better setup. I know. Anyway, King of Cups. Interesting. So, King of Cups. Let's have a quick look. I feel like I'll mess it up if I try to do it from memory. King of Cups. Yes. Okay. Master of emotional control and empathy, the King of Cups exudes compassion, offering balanced, supportive leadership. His diplomatic nature fosters tolerance, making him a beacon of understanding and emotional stability. Now that's really Golf all over, isn't it? King of Cups. If anybody can be empathetic or understanding of what Mew's possible situation is, if it's not as the world thinks, it would be Golf, wouldn't it? So, you know, and who else but Golf would be so tolerant, so patient, so understanding of what's going on as well. So, yes, definitely that's... That's definitely a card that makes me think of Golf. Yes, King of Cups. All right. So he's understanding Mew's situation is what I get from that card then. He's understanding the situation with Mew, whatever that may be. So what else is he feeling? What else is he feeling towards Mew? Has he been in touch with Mew lately? Because if everybody noticed those pictures that Golf shared yesterday, some particular people from Mew's side liked those pictures, even commented on those pictures. Particular one was Army Toast, who happens to be on said trip of being in NYC with me right now. So if he saw them, I'm sure somebody else did too. So how is Golf Canoat feeling about Mew Superset right now? Have they been talking? Oh. Okay. We got strength. It's not the first time that card's come out. I suppose, you know, being as understanding and tolerant as he is of whatever this situation is with Mew, you would need the strength, wouldn't you? So he's feeling strong. He's let me just check what else is said in that card. Strength represents the fusion of courage and compassion. It signifies inner strength and subtle power, focusing on influence and persuasion. This card embodies the balance of passion with focus, reflecting resilience and emotional control. So emotional control comes up again, because that was also part of King of Cups. In other words, whatever is going on with Mew right now, Golf isn't letting it get to him. If he is still in communication with Mew, if there is some big thing happening behind the scenes, that they are still together, and this is all just, you know, something else, work, committed to a contract of some kind or anything like that, he's keeping it together and just remaining patient, waiting for the day that Mew will come back to him, so to speak. Is that right, Golly? Can we have one more card just to confirm that? Yeah, Golf is just remaining calm and unbothered. Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles. What's Four of Pentacles? I'll have to look. But just looking at this card here, this guy just sitting there, he's waiting, isn't he? He's waiting. Actually, the King of Cups also looks like he's just biding his time, waiting for something as well, now I think of it. Four of Pentacles, let's see. Not just waiting, but being careful about things too. So the Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles highlights the importance of financial stability and security. It represents the need to save and manage resources wisely, suggesting a cautious approach to spending and a focus on conserving wealth. Again, that really fits with the situation Mew's in right now, because if possibly Mew is upholding some kind of arrangement, debt, contract, whatever, he's being very understanding about it, that Mew has to, you know, save up and make enough money for both of them to be able to survive the big change that's possibly coming. Could be something like that. Yeah. Again, I'm feeling like, I don't know, like these cards, similar to the cards I got for Mew, how Mew's feeling about Golf, they're so maturely focused today, if you know what I mean. Like, not just the fact about the money matters, but emotional stability, emotional control, I'm just so used to us getting cards about them being the opposite. Even golf at times, you know, feeling like golf has had the Ten of Swords before, if you know which one that is, where he's really felt defeated and yeah, like this is, I suppose it's a surprisingly calm themed reading, you could say. Also, we haven't had the theme that we've had for so long now of kids either. Nothing about have my kids, because I think it was 2 or 3 readings in a row we kept getting things linking us to the idea of being parents, working parents, have my kids, etc. This feels more like harmony, the calm after the storm, coming to an understanding, just something like that, yeah. Interesting. Okay. Well, I know I got 5 cards from you, but I feel like those cards are enough personally, so I'm just going to leave it as that. And I was about to ask. Anyway, the card we have here is Sun. Isn't that fitting? Sun. So the King of Cups, I was going to make that card for. So emotional control, being understanding, happiness, success, clarity. Goes with that. Yeah, that's very fitting. It's like golf is happy. Golf is happy to just keep waiting, being patient, understanding what Mew is going through right now. He's happy to wait. He's happy to wait. Which really brings me to the energy of twin flames again. When the divine feminine decides to choose herself and just get on with life and sort of let be what is. And if her masculine decides to come back to her one day, so be it. But she's done waiting around and she's just going to get on with her life now. So you can do that. You can do that while still being understanding, supportive, etc. So that really does resonate for that idea, in my opinion. Alright, and what about strength, little deck? You were so eager to give us that Sun card. Not to mention the Sun card. Was that a... Man card. I just noticed there was a flipped card there. I don't know when that flipped, but it flipped. I'll have to go back and look at that, when that actually flipped. But I think the fact that I saw it, no matter when it flipped, the fact that I saw it then when I was asking for this card, that's a sign. So the Man card. Who else? Mew, right? Mew. So being strong and having the strength to endure about this man. Yeah. I was about to say, what I was about to say was the Sun. I was about to remind you all, we all know who the Sun can be as well. For individual meanings of cards. We all know who the Sun represents. And then this card comes out. The Man, the Sun. Same thing, right? Mew, Sun. Wow. Anyway. And 4 of Pentacles. What's this 4 of Pentacles about? Oh, I did see that card. It was the Bed card. 4 of Pentacles. The Bed card. Yep. For golf, that means instead of being, what do they call it? Tight and stingy about money, he is being very cautious, careful, and not sharing about his private life. That's like a perfect combination to describe our beautiful sunflower, I think. Yeah, so how's he feeling about Mew today? He's happy to wait for him to, you know, let him deal with whatever this situation is. He's understanding about it. He's feeling strong about it, possibly feeling strong about the connection he has with Mew. That, you know, what will be, and if it's meant to be them together in the future, it will happen. Divine timing comes to mind. And then Four of Pentacles, while he is doing this, being patient and tolerant and understanding of the situation, he is going to be very careful about who and what he shares regarding his private life. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Okay, so that's good. Oh, we're good, making good timing too. All right, so let's leave it at that, and I will go to the Oracle cards. All right, so Oracle cards. I haven't got my new decks yet, only these. So, oh, and the ombre, of course. So I've kind of been getting into the habit of using all three of these at once now to paint a bigger picture, because I feel like they're very lovey-dovey cards, and despite having blanks in them, you know, but lovey-dovey or blank is kind of not enough variation, and these two, you know. So I've decided to start using all three together. So we'll pull the from this deck first. So this is Ebony. We'll say hello to Ebony first. Hello, Ebony. So we are asking about how Mew is feeling towards golf. How Mew Superset is feeling towards Golf Kanawat today. How is Mew Superset feeling towards Golf Kanawat today? And what I like about mixing the three of these decks together is, well, Ebony and Ivory work very well together. Ivory has a good way of completing what Ebony says, and then Ombre sort of comes in afterwards and sort of, if the cards were not the nicest message for whoever I'm reading for, then Ombre comes in with a nice sort of coating, a nice sugar coating, let's say. So I don't have to sugarcoat, the card does. Sometimes it can also be the opposite though. But it's nice, it sort of has that finishing touch feeling to it when I add the ombre to it afterwards. Because Ebony can be very harsh, as we saw with last month. We had Axe came out for the reading about how Mew was feeling about Tool. So yeah. Alright, so, but whoa! Whoa. Okay, I saw the top card, so I'll accept that one, Ebony, but you can't do that. You can't give me a whole pile like that at once. Come on. How is Mew Superset feeling about Golf Kanawat? So the one I got there was Hammer, which is about, put it up there for you. It's about, well, sabotage, rebuilding, interrogation, repetitive, persistent, and working on it. So it can be positive or negative, like most of these cards. We won't know which until we get more cards. So how is Mew Superset feeling about Golf Kanawat today, Ebony? Just one card at a time is okay. You don't have to throw them all at me at once. How is MewSuperZ feeling about Golf Kanawat today? If at all. I mean, maybe when we got that reading earlier he was thinking. Now he could be not thinking at all. In fact, what's the time difference? No, right now it should be in the morning, so no, he wouldn't be asleep. But he could be busy. Perhaps earlier we got him when he was dreaming about golf. That would be funny. Okay. Okay. Now that just sort of jumped out at the hammer, so something tells me this is related to the hammer more than anything. Which again, like his reading for golf earlier, like it wasn't all about golf. I'm sensing that again. Because this one about sabotage, rebuilding, interrogation, repetitive, persistent, working on it. Working on a self-absorbed, narcissist, one-sided relationship, love bombing. Yeah, doesn't sound like anything between them exactly. But can you give us at least one more card, please, Ebony? I might have to get more clarifiers for that though. But one card to start with would be nice, Ebony. Can you guys see the cards? Check that you can actually see them. So how is MewSuperZ feeling about Golf Kanawat today, apart from these two cards? Are these two cards his thinking about these things because of golf, but are they actually about him? Or is it more that he has golf has triggered him to think about these things? Something like that. How is MewSuperZ thinking about Golf Kanawat right now? Or how is he feeling towards Golf Kanawat right now? At least one more card, please, Ebony. One more card. How is MewSuperZ feeling towards Golf Kanawat right now? Goodness me, did I hurt your feelings when I didn't take all those cards earlier? How could I? There was more than 10. Okay. Well, that kind of slid down the back. I'll take it because I feel like they're being a bit resistant now. Alright, so what is this one? Healing heart. Healing from heartbreak, freedom from toxic relationship or addiction. Wow. See, now that really doesn't sound like anything to do with golf. But like I said, it could be that thinking about golf has triggered this. I'm afraid I'm going to need more clarifiers, Ebony. So let's, this toxic relationship or addiction, this self-sabotage, one-sided relationship, love bombing, sabotage, rebuilding, etc. You gave me 2 cards before I finished. What's it all about? Is it really about him and golf, or is it about what he has to leave behind before he can reunite with golf? This is what I was going to say, guys, so I'm pretty sure that Ebony knows that, so let's see, what are these 2 cards? Interesting. So, first off, we got soulmates came out. Soul connection, partnership, agreement, soul contract. And the snake came out. Competition, enemy, clever, malicious, look over your shoulder, and the other woman. Alright, so that's not really, if we look at it in a certain way, that's contradictory to what we got earlier. That's saying he thinks that the person he's with right now is his soulmate. Thinking, not is. Thinking he is. Because the snake, well, you know. But it could also be, if this is about golf, then maybe Mew well, like I said, if you look at it as, like I said, that this is everything he's being triggered to think because of golf, then all this relates to him and Tool, and then we come to this for him and golf. And I know that sounds really biased, but that is how it can be looked at. If we look at it another way, then it would be like saying he thinks him and golf are all this, and who he's with is his soulmate. You can be the total opposite. But to me, that just, it really doesn't fit. It doesn't sit. And that's not because I'm a Waanjai either. It just doesn't sit that way. There's something about the order of these cards, because sometimes when you get cards in a row, they can sort of tell a story. So the fact that we got Hammer, which is sabotage, rebuilding, interrogation, repetitive, persistent, working on it, we got that first. So if you look at this in like a sort of like a time frame, you could say that this is what it started with. He started working on this relationship, but then found that it was one-sided, or he was being love-bombed a lot. He's now sort of woken up to that idea, and he's starting to heal. Starting to try and free himself from this toxic relationship or addiction. But there's competition. And he's got to be clever and malicious about coming towards the other woman, or obviously golf, in other words, who he thinks is his soulmate. So going back to golf. Or, like I said, if you read it the other way, it could be he thinks that the other woman is his soulmate. He could be thinking that all this was about golf. So it actually goes back to the idea of when you're with a karmic partner, of course you think they're the one, or you wouldn't be with them, right? So you don't think they're a karmic partner. You don't go with them because you think they're a karmic partner who's going to teach you a karmic lesson, do you? You think they're the one. But when it's proven to you through whatever signs, whatever intuition you get that they're not, it's hard to accept. It's hard to admit. And, you know, it's not easy. It's not as easy as people may think to drop a karmic partnership. So yeah, it could be that as well. It could be that as well. It could be that Mew is saying, like, he's working on it, he's trying to escape, but it's going to take time. He has to be clever about it. So that sort of tells me that, yeah, it's not going to be something done overnight. But eventually he will get back to his soul connection to golf, basically. That's how I see it. But yeah. as I said, it could be the other way. It depends how you interpret the cards. All right, I think we'll leave it at that, Ebony. You've given me 5 cards. That's probably enough. Or should I get one more? Oh, all right. Maybe just one more. One more. One more card, Ebony. Just, you know, after the soulmates card. Who is the soulmate? Can we ask you that? Who is the soulmate? Is there any card in this deck that you could give us that would give us a bit more clarity on who he thinks is his soulmate? Because as I said, those 2 cards, the combo could go either way. Or just, what did the soulmate card come out for? Does he think golf is his soulmate? Or does he think tool is his soulmate? I may have to count for this one because I suppose Ebony didn't think getting 1 card was ideal. Will you give me 1 more card, Ebony? Please. I just have this feeling, you know, we just need 1 more card. I know you probably threw all these cards at me at the beginning, is that right? So there's possibly 1 more. Wouldn't take them all at once, but we end up with 6 cards, I know. It's a bit hypocritical, isn't it? Maybe I'll remember that next time. But in the meantime, can you give me 1 more card? Whoa! Thank you, Ebony. That's more than enough. Okay, there you have it. So, love call. Someone expresses love, a message of love, thinking of you and letting you know. Wow. Okay. So, remember I asked, does he think golf is his soulmate? I also asked, or does he think tool is his soulmate? But do you need to call someone you're with, really? Do you need to give someone a message of love who you're actually with in person? I don't think so. Doesn't make as much sense as it does to sending a love message to someone who you are apart from at this point in time. Anyway, I said 1 more card and I meant it, so we will let Ivory give us some more clarification about these cards. So, hello there, Ivory. Nice to see you today. So, what do you have to say about these cards? Firstly, about the hammer. Why did the hammer come out when we asked how MewSuperSid is feeling about Golf Canoat today? Is it how he's feeling about his current situation and golf triggered him to think about it? Or does he really feel that way towards golf? I mean, the hammer card could also be rebuilding or working on a relationship with golf too, the hammer card. So what do you think, Ivory? Why did the hammer card come out today when we asked how MewSuperSid is feeling about Golf Canoat? What is this hammer card about, please? Well, 1 flew down there. I haven't seen it, but I think I'll take it because I'm feeling a bit of resistance, so... Aww. Well, whether it's about golf or tool, it's not happy. He's not happy about it. He's not happy about this having to rebuild or work on it situation. Tears. When I think about you, I cry. We've had this before for how Mew feels about golf. So maybe the hammer card is about golf. Or if it's about tool, then, you know, maybe Mew's just... he's had enough of trying to make things work. Perhaps. Alright, what about this golden mirror? So the self-absorbed, narcissist, one-sided relationship, love bombing. Why did this card come out? Ivory? Again, was it something Mew was triggered to think about because of golf, or was it something he thinks towards golf? Is it something he thinks about him and golf? Interesting. Okay, so we got two cards. We got, is it true? I heard you were dating someone. Is it true? Please tell me it isn't. And you're so smart. Your intellect really turns me on. You're so smart and I really enjoy our conversations. Interesting. Well, these two cards together, I would say, since I said this earlier too, I mentioned about the is it true card, didn't I? In regards to golf about Mew. So is it possible that, you know, since recently golf did the Wall Song show with Smith, and he went to his birthday celebration and got him the boots, sorry, not the boots, the shoes, and obviously, you know, the shippers for Golf and Smith have been going wild again. Is it possible that it's, you know, the shoes on the other foot recently? So Golf has been wondering about him and Tool. Is it possible that now Mew is wondering about him and Smith? Maybe. And then you're so smart. Well, this is sort of, to me, that's talking about, because it's, is it true? There's obviously doubt, isn't there? So it's about somebody being very smart, very cunning, very, maybe not cunning, but very careful and very picky about the information they share with people, so that there is room for doubt, because not all the facts are laid out on the table. So yeah, it could be about him feeling that towards what he's seen happening on social media with Golf and Smith, but it could also be because of this one-sided relationship, love bombing part of things as well. It could be that, again, like I said, this is talking about Mew and Tool. And it could be just Mew confirming that there is doubt and that he has to be smart about it, possibly. Could be. Like he has to keep the doubt alive while still feeding the shippers, and he also has to be smart about what he reveals, possibly more so regarding, you know, things that could be linked with him and Golf. Maybe. Alright, and what about this healing heart card? So, if this was about Mew and Tool, healing from heartbreak, freedom from toxic relationship or addiction, why did this card come out when we asked about how Mew was feeling towards Golf Kanawat? Is it because he is healing from a relationship that he is currently still in? Or is it because he was healing from what he felt was toxic with Golf? Which I doubt very much, guys, but you know. the way the cards have come out, have to cover all possibilities here. So who is he feeling this healing heart about? Is that even possible to tell me, Ivory? Okay. So the card that popped out at me just then was not the right time. I am overwhelmed with responsibilities. I don't have the time or energy for a relationship. Okay. So if we go back to the idea of that there was possibly something that had to be forgiven between Mew and Gulf for that Judgment and Temperance card combination. Perhaps, you know, Mew took it harder than he lets on about their parting ways for career motives back in the day, even though they knew it just wasn't the right time. Yeah, perhaps, like I've said before, maybe that is what started the downward spiral for Mew, was parting with Gulf when they parted. Then he started, you know, having to do things all on his own without that extra support, extra close time with Gulf, like, you know, cuddle therapy, lean on my shoulder, talk it out over IG stuff. He suddenly didn't have all that, and then on top of that, his best friend at the time was about to fly to another country for 2 years study. So he fell into burnout, didn't he? So yeah, healing heart. Perhaps Mew felt that it was something he had to heal from back then, and it just wasn't the right time. Or if this is more about him and Tool, then perhaps Mew is thinking right now that, you know, he hasn't healed properly from that said time, so it's not the right time for them to go further with their relationship, perhaps. I'm still, yeah, it's still not exactly giving us a clear picture, is it? What about this, oh, what about this snake card? I was about to say snake. I already knew it, so let's see. The snake card. Feeling lost. I'm trying to make this work, but I feel so lost. I don't know what to do or say anymore, and it's easier to just stay in silence. Well, if I were to say what that most fits, I would say that fits with Mew basically sitting there saying nothing while Tool does all the talking, wouldn't you? I'm trying to make this work, but I feel so lost. Does he look lost? Yes, he does look lost. He doesn't know what to do or say anymore. Yes, the Mew we know who couldn't stop talking, who was very wise and could talk the leg off a chair about any subject, where's he gone? Where's he gone? It seems only one person can talk in these interviews most of the time now, and Mew just sits there, either nodding his head or looking out to the abyss, or if he is paying attention, nervously turning his ring, doesn't he? So yeah, that fits more than ever with what I was saying about, yeah, the snake being his relationship with Tool. The competition, the enemy, the clever and malicious person, the other woman. Alright, and what about this soulmates card? Is it that he thinks he's soulmates with Gulf? I'll ask that again, and I'm not going to say Tool this time. So does Mew think he is soulmates with Gulf? Despite everything, does Mew still think he is soulmates with Gulf? We'll get a clear answer that way. Does Mew still think he is soulmates with Golf, or he has a soul connection with Golf? What did this soulmates card come out for, Ivory? Whoa! Oh, no you don't. Too many cards, guys. What did this soulmates card come out for when we asked how Mew is feeling towards Golf Kanawat? Please, Ivory. Oh, I was about to flip, but it didn't. I will have to count if you don't give me something soon, Ivory. We still have somebody else to cover. You're mysterious. I can never seem to figure you out. Sometimes I feel like you're hiding something from me. Never really know where I stand with you. Well, that doesn't really answer who, but maybe this one will. Alright, so love call. He wants to express his love to someone, send a message of love to someone, or he is thinking about someone and wants to let you know. So who is this? This isn't goodbye. I don't want to walk away, but it's what's best for me and us right now. This isn't goodbye. We will be together again soon. Now that makes me think Golf, for sure. If we go back to the idea of what I said, Golf is choosing himself. He's choosing to walk away, choosing to just let things be. Well, perhaps they're on mutual grounds with that. Perhaps, you know, Golf has actually said this to Mew, like, how about you just forget about me for a while and sort yourself out first, and we'll meet somewhere in the middle in the future. We'll come back together if that is what destiny wants, something like that. Then this would definitely resonate with all that. Could also be like you're mysterious for the soulmates card. Could be they both feel it. They both feel the connection, but with the circumstances, not the right time, etc. They kind of also know that it just can't be at this point. That there are things that need to be taken care of first, particularly on Mew's side, but possibly also on Golf's side, like, you know, commitments, work commitments and things that need to be seen through. Yeah. In the meantime, with Mew choosing to possibly stay in this confused arrangement with this person, he continues to feel lost. Well, I don't really have to tell you, do I, guys? It's there. You see it in the interviews. It's right there in front of your eyes if you want to see it. The way Mew has stopped really being enthusiastic about telling people his plans, his stories. It's like when they do say something about each other, it's usually in a sarcastic tone or even said in a joking manner, like, yeah, you know, we're just saying this because we know you want to hear it, or something like that, or to feed the shippers, basically. It does not sound genuine at all. Not that it ever really did, but definitely it doesn't now. The more that the information keeps evolving, coming out, etc., the more it feels unbelievable. So, Yeah, not the right time. Well, like I said, that could be for either of them, because I've said it before. Mew really needs to do some shadow work to get himself in order spiritually. So he's not in any state to be in a relationship with anyone, Tull or Golf. He really does need to get his act together first. He needs to go back to that time in 2022 when he was burnt out, and he needs to heal from it properly, because I don't think, it just doesn't feel like he gave himself the proper time and the proper attention to heal from that. It just doesn't. If you look back at the timeline of when they got together, possibly Mew and Tull, according to their story, their own story, it was right in the depth of that burnout. And any psychologist will tell you it's not the right time to be starting a relationship when you are down, deep down in depression, etc. It's just not right. It reminds me of a IG story that Golf shared once, where he said, this was about something else, but it was about shopping. He said, never go shopping when you're hungry, because you will make the wrong decision. And then it was some term of also relating that to, and don't start a relationship when you're lonely or something like that, which burnout depression is a very lonely state. So, you know, I've said it many, many times before, this relationship has kind of been doomed from the start because of how it started. If it could have been anything better, it's just, you know, Mew would have to go away, be single for a while and heal himself first, and then come back to Tull, still come back and choose Tull. Then maybe I would be convinced that they were meant to be together. Otherwise, it's just too flawed, too many loopholes, and it just seems to make more sense for him to return one day to this other person who seems to fit him better. Anyway, that's my opinion, guys, not the cards. But as you've seen what the cards say, yeah, so this is how he's possibly feeling about Golf right now. I would still say that at least the first 3 cards would be related to his other relationship rather than him and Golf. And that right now he knows personally that he's not in the right place for Golf or Tull. Feeling lost, doesn't know what to say, what to do anymore, and this isn't goodbye. It really just sounds like Mew is starting to gain that clarity, that what I just said. He needs to heal first. Before he does anything, he needs to heal. That's what it says to me. Oh, hang on. I haven't done ombre yet. Wait a second. Let's get some lovey-dovey on this here. Whoa. Okay. That felt so fast, but you know, I'll take it anyway. If there's anything I've learnt from the other 2 decks. So the first card we got is Please Don't Feel Disappointed with Me. Pretty fitting for this, isn't it? Please don't feel disappointed with me. I'm guessing this is around the fact that he's not ready yet. He's saying, please don't feel disappointed with me that I'm not ready yet. Alright, and maybe just one more card, ombre, because 1 card doesn't seem like enough. 1 card, please, or more, whatever you prefer, but at least 1 more, please. How is Mew Superset feeling about Golf Kanawut today? Of course, he's not feeling disappointed with him, is he? Because the other cards from the Goey deck showed us that Golf is very understanding, very patient, very tolerable. So he's not feeling disappointed with him. How is Mew Superset feeling about Golf Kanawut right now? Can we get at least one more card, please? How is me Super Sick feeling about golf kind of what right now? Will I have to count? Or maybe, I don't really have room. I was going to say maybe, oh, never mind. Okay, you didn't want to be fanned out or anything crazy. I see that now, I'm afraid. Alright, so I got 2 cards. I feel this insane attraction to you and connect to me telepathically through meditation. Wow. Well, that's interesting. Please don't feel disappointed with me. I feel this insane attraction to you. Connect to me telepathically through meditation. Well, that really sounds like a soul connection, doesn't it? In particular, twin flame, because twin flames are the ones who can feel each other. Alright, and then Ivory, have you got any more to add to those 3 cards? Not the right time. We got need time to heal. Need time to heal. Please don't feel disappointed with me. Need time to heal. That's very fitting. Oh my goodness. We got 6 other cards and I saw them all. So too late now. So focused on money, finding myself, lost, missing you, something to say, and have my kids. Okay, is that just you throwing a fit at me, Ivory? You're just throwing all these cards at me at once or something? Wow. Alright, so this line of cards, I would say, is to cover the last 2. Hey, where are you? There. So this, I feel this insane attraction to you and connect to me telepathically through meditation. All those cards I just read out go with that. So, yeah, okay. Okay. So, missing you, something to say, that could be connect to me telepathically through meditation. Finding myself could also be part of the need time to heal. Focused on money could also be part of the need time to heal, and please don't feel disappointed with me. Have my kids could be the I feel this insane attraction to you. Also missing you could also be that. There you have it, guys. Oh, so many cards. Alright, it'll make more sense when I put it all up on YouTube, because it's all there in your, you can look at it then, because I don't even know if you can see those cards, can you? Probably not. But I read them out as they came out. That was how they came out. And it wasn't like I just drew them from the deck either. They were, hang on, let me just pick them up and show you. They had all flipped over and they were sort of like that. That's why I said I saw them all. I could kind of tell most of them what they were. So I just decided to, okay, grab all 6 and let's see what Ivory has to tell me. Anyway, let's put these away because we now have to see what the other half is feeling. Let's try and do this as usual in a way that's not going to be fixed. I said it in my last reading. It's incredible, like how some of these cards keep coming out. Like Have My Kids. There are 54 cards in this deck. 54 cards, and yet that card just seems to come out in every reading, even if it's not direct. It would be so much quicker and easier just to pick all the cards up. I know, guys, but skeptics, I love you and I know how you feel, so I try my best to make sure there's no doubt that I could be in some kind of a fixed system with all these cards or anything, because I'm not. Oh, and the black ones. Oh, there's too many cards now. Too many cards to work with. Alright. So we will now move on to how Golf is feeling about Mew. And then that will be it for today. We were making good timing, but now we're running a bit late. Alright, let's go. Let's go last time for today. Ebony, how is Golf Kanawat feeling about Mew Superset right now? How is Golf Kanawat feeling about Mew Superset right now, today? If at all. Mew seems to be feeling a lot of things about his current situation, about the future, about how to change things, about a possible change coming. How are you feeling, Golf? How is Golf Kanawat feeling about Mew Superset? Whoa, no. How is Golf Kanawat feeling about Mew Superset today, Ebony? We got sunglasses. Watching, looking, stalking, gaslighting, perception, focusing out. Interesting. Well, from everything said on that card, I would take watching, looking, maybe even stalking. In other words, Golf is paying attention to what's going on. Could also be sunglasses in literal sense, because as I said earlier, you know, Golf has been wearing shades since Mew started wearing shades. Could be that, you know, they're seeing the world from behind shades now. So their emotions are a little bit more hidden, perhaps. Alright, how else? How else is Golf Kanawat feeling about Mew Superset right now? This is about how he's feeling about Mew. It could even be that he feels that Mew is possibly stalking, focusing out, maybe even gaslighting. Addiction. Codependent, obsession, possession, controlling, has a block and restraint. Well, again, that could be, there's two ways. It could be that Golf is feeling that towards Mew, as in he is obsessed, addicted, possessive, codependent to Mew, but I doubt it. I doubt that's Golf. It's more likely that he's feeling that Mew is, well, it's not new to say codependency, is it? Codependency in that relationship. So Mew is codependent, possibly obsessed, controlling, trying to control the outcome, has a block or restraint, restraining himself, maybe even restraining himself from doing anything with Gulf, possibly, or Gulf to him. Alright, and one more card if possible. It's 6 for me, didn't I? Well, it's up to you. It's up to you, Ebony. You either give us one or you can give us more. I think the 6 cards that came out earlier was because I needed more clarification, so depends. We didn't need as much clarification in the tarot. Maybe the same for this. Golf is not as... He hasn't got as much to say, or he chooses not to say as much, even in spirit. So, yeah, maybe just one more card if you can. Whoa. Okay. We got self-indulgence, focus on self-worth, time to heal, shadow work, and self-appreciation. See, that really fits in with what we just got for Mew, doesn't it? So, like I said, it's possible that Golf has, like, given him the green light to, you know, go and do what you have to do and come back to me when you're ready, and only when you're ready. It could be something like that. Or if this card is more about Golf, it could also be that he's chosen himself, like we said earlier as well. Time to heal for both of them. Time to do shadow work for both of them. Yeah, it could be like that. Maybe I'll get a clarifier for that one. So is this self-indulgence card more about him or more about Mew, Ebony? Is Golf choosing himself and going to just wait for, I suppose, Mew to heal, to get his act together? Is that what this card is saying, basically? See those cards, can you? Maybe just one more card. One more card to sort of round these 3 up, if possible. Whoa, hey, hey, hey. I didn't see that card. Oh. Well, okay, if you insist. If you insist, Ebony. Alright. So, we got... how many cards? 4. She's given us 4 cards, Ebony, now. Alright, so we have camera, the chaser, the snake. You had the snake. And heart with a key. So camera, reminiscing, keepsake, perception, learn from the past, make memories. Could fit both of them. So, you know, they're going away to heal and do shadow work, and in the meantime they're just going to reminisce and learn from the past and remember what they had. The chaser in codependent relationship, fear of abandonment issue. This kind of relates to both of them in a way, because definitely at the beginning Golf is the chaser. But then if you look at Mew with the other person, he's more the chaser. So again, that could relate to both of them. The snake, competition, enemy, clever, malicious, look over your shoulder, the other woman. And heart with a key, welcoming love, meeting the one, open your heart, getting together, perfect. So if this was in a timeline, like I said for those other cards, paying attention, seeing the problem or the fact that he has a block, or that he's restraining himself, choosing to focus on oneself, or seeing that he is going to choose to focus on oneself. And so in the meantime, just reminiscing, remembering, learning from the past, making new memories, stop being the chaser, both of them, become clever and, you know, be more careful about the competition and the other woman, in other words, Tull. And heart with a key, wait for the right moment when they can both come together again. Meeting the one, welcoming love, open your heart, getting together, perfect. That time will come after all this. That's how I see. That's what I make of it. That's what I make of it. Okay, and then let's see what Ivory has to say. So, sunglasses. What's this sunglasses card about? Ivory? Is it, like I said, it's about watching and waiting patiently for both of them? Or why did this card come out for what Gulf is feeling towards Mew Superset? What is this sunglasses card about for what Gulf is feeling towards Mew Superset? Whoop, there was a flip there. Is that one? I'm leaving. I'm ready to leave a situation or mindset that has not served me and hindered my growth. Okay, and what about this addiction card? This addiction, codependent, controlling, etc. Is this what Gulf feels Mew is right now with his current situation, current relationship, current situationship? Well, I'm leaving means that Mew is going to stop doing that anyway. He's going to start moving away and choosing himself by the look of things. That could be the big change, guys. It could be the big change. The engagement could be put on hold at least, if not cancelled, and Mew could just decide to isolate and make sense of his inner conflict, his inner knowing, you know, just maybe try and do that, what he failed to do when he tried to ordain, perhaps. Addiction, we have father wounds, not the right time, and jealousy. Wow, okay. So, father wounds. My father is a big influence on my behavior now as an adult. I have challenges with connecting to the divine masculine energy within me and externally. Interesting. Not the right time. I am overwhelmed with responsibilities. I don't have the time or energy for a relationship. You had that earlier. And jealousy. I'm very jealous and I can barely stand it. So these three cards could be for well, I suppose if we put it like this, probably makes the most sense. Self-indulgence, as we said, choosing oneself, time to heal, shadow work, that definitely goes with not the right time. Father wounds is possibly, you know, what do they call it? child trauma, etc. Possibility to cause codependency and obsession in a relationship, or even feeling you have to control things because that's what your father did. It can be something as simple as that as well. It could be even, if we say this is actually how Golf is feeling, it could be he's choosing to let go of that mindset, and he's doing that because he feels like he can't be the father, he can't be the masculine in any relationship right now, possibly. And the jealousy coming out for the camera, well, it probably didn't, but if we make it for the camera, then well, I wouldn't be surprised, you know. Despite being okay with everything and being patient with the King of, what was it, the King of Cups, etc., I'm sure that seeing your loved one with someone else is still going to cause you a little bit of jealousy deep down. Alright, so I'll take it as that, Ivory. And what about the Chaser, the Snake, and Heart with a Key? If you're going to throw cards at me like that, I might as well say them all. The Chaser, the Snake, and the Heart with a Key. What do you have to say about those? We got one card, Obsessed. Well, that would be the Chaser. Definitely. We've had that before. What about the Snake and Heart with a Key? I want to wrap this up, so let's get a bit of a move on, shall we? The Snake, Heart with a Key. Whoa. I'm sorry. I hate how much I've hurt you. I'm so sorry for all the pain I've caused. You didn't deserve any of it. Okay. So he's had I'm sorry for his readings towards, not his, sorry, Mew's readings towards Tull. He's had I'm sorry before. Also his readings towards Golf, he's had I'm sorry before. So, is this more Mew than Golf? Possibly. Considering it came out for the Snake card, the other woman, well, the other woman is Tull. So, I would say more that perhaps Golf is even feeling sorry for Tull. Because, like, Tull has got himself tangled up into this third party mess. For whatever reason it is, whether it be that they really are all three in this arrangement of protecting him, or if it's something between Mew and Tull, like working off a contract to pay off the debt for Ocean Eyes or whatever. Perhaps whatever part Golf has in it, whatever it is, he's also sorry, you know, that it affects Tull, and it may not be the best outcome for him, perhaps. Or maybe he's feeling it towards Mew as well. You know, maybe he's feeling sorry that Mew has to go through all this, if that's what it is with the idea of the debt. Or perhaps he's feeling that just because it wasn't the right time for him back then, Mew has had to go through all this. It could be even that, and he's feeling sorry for that. Heart with a Key. What's this Heart with a Key about? What's this Heart with a Key about, Ivory? This came up in our last reading for... Yes. Wow. Yes. Heart with a Key. Heart with a Key, we got the future. So I was just about to say Heart with a Key. In our last reading, we got Heart with a Key and the future, not together, but we got these two cards for how Mew was feeling about Tool. And the heart with the key was old thinking, was outdated thinking, as was the future. And perhaps it was outdated thinking because, well, it seems it belongs now with how he thinks about golf. For all this, we end with these two. Again, like a timeline, you know. They have to go through the hardship and the hard time and the healing time first before they get to the happy ending, which heart with a key and the future. That's like a reassurance that they will be together again one day in the future. And Mew still dreams about it, as we know, and seems like Golf still dreams about it. I daydream about our future together, going on adventures and growing old together. I want it all. That's it. So Golf is still dreaming about it, but he has, you know, not the right time and decided to choose himself for now. Until Mew gets his act together, like I said earlier. But there is still a future. There is still a future for them, obviously, because those two came out. Alright, let's do the ombre cards now to finish off. How is Golf Kanawat feeling about Mew Superset right now? Please, ombre. Can you add any more to this spread of ebony and ivory? How is Golf Kanawat feeling about Mew Superset right now? You're so beautiful inside and out. Well, that's sweet. And we had that. This, again, this is like, I've mentioned it before. It's like Mew and Golf mirror each other in these readings. Like last reading, Mew had this for Golf. Now Golf has it for Mew. And I'm not fixing anything, guys. Like, this is just pure coincidence. Okay. How else? How else is Golf Kanawat feeling about Mew? Please, ombre. How is Golf Kanawat feeling about Mew Superset today? How is Golf Kanawat feeling towards Mew Superset today? Whoa. Another sweet one. I truly want to work on this connection. I would say that belongs over here too. Very fittingly. Okay, so I think Mew had more than two, but I think two's enough. Two's enough for this one. And lastly, Ivory, what do you have to say about these two cards? You're so beautiful inside and out. Why does Golf feel that way towards Mew right now? What makes Golf feel that way towards Mew right now? Whoa. Finding myself. It was time I went within to find myself again. I need to figure out what I want out of life. I need space. So this could be Golf thinking that, you know, Mew has the answers inside of him and he trusts that he will make the right decision and that he will choose to align with his true self in the end. And that's why he's saying you're so beautiful inside and out. He knows there's a beautiful person there that's possibly been hiding or less seen lately because he hasn't been himself. When he finds himself, that beautiful person will return. That's what I get from those cards anyway. And what about I truly want to work on this connection? What have you got to say about that one, Ivory? I mean, it kind of speaks for itself, this card, but what did this card say to you, Ivory? I truly want to work on this connection. Why did this card come out for MewGulf? Whoops. That flashed. It flashed, but I feel like I know what it was. Should I take it or not? Maybe I'll take it, but I'll get another card first. To be a clarifier. Because, yeah, I'm pretty confident I know what that card was, but because it didn't completely flip over, I'll leave it for now. So, why did Golf... Okay. Never mind that. Okay, so my fantasy. You're my fantasy. I have pictures and videos saved of you and use them for inspiration. I want you. Wow. Okay, and what was this one? Oh. Well, that's not the one. You're so smart is what that card was I pulled out. That wasn't what I thought it was. I thought the card I thought it was what did I think it was? What did I think it was? Something like no, I've totally lost it. Blank. I knew what I thought it was, but gone. Yeah, so my fantasy and you're so smart. I truly want to work on this connection. Well, that also fits, doesn't it? Your intellect really turns me on. You're so smart, and I really enjoy our conversations. So he wants more conversations with you. And my fantasy, well, my fantasy could be connected to my future as well. Yeah. Okay, I think that makes sense. So there you have it, guys. We'll leave it there. I'll pack all these up later. I'll leave them separate so I can do it properly later. That was certainly some reading, I think. Whoops, let me grab this now. Hi guys, so what have you been saying? You're coming through loud and clear, good. You seem to have more space where you are now. Love the table covering, looks like a cozy space made for readings. Thank you. Yes, this is my new space. Still got a fridge behind me, of course, but yeah, little Scorpio bear there is now holding my little treasure there as well. And I got some new decorations there of all the signs. I also have... This is where I do keep my cards. It's a little bit bare right now because I've got all the cards on the table. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this setup. Oh, and the cloth. I hope that the cloth is not too distracting for you guys. Because it is very colourful. What else have you said? Hi, how are you? Hello, Kelly. Okay, thanks, Elizabeth. Great. Okay, so just a few of you. That's cool. That's cool. I did do it at a different time frame today, so Probably not as many of you could stay up to watch. But, yeah, I feel like I'm glad, despite how I said at the beginning I'm glad that we did this today, and the cards we got in the end there for MewGulf make the whole thing worth it as well. Also, you know, where is it? Where'd it go? Oh, there. The changes, the big change, the inevitable change that's coming. Definitely that was a theme today, once again. And also, like, for me, with the cutting out something or making a sharp decision about this tower, this man, etc. It all really kind of linked well together today. Possibly why I felt the way I did. Like, it just felt it was going together too smoothly, perhaps. Anyway, like I said, I know you guys want the full picture and want to know what's happening on the other side, but I just don't feel like it would be right to do a reading for them right now. Yeah, it's kind of too late now anyway. But I promise I will at some point come back on and do that couple. Most likely and preferably when they come back home. And there'll be more chance of getting a clearer picture of how they're really feeling rather than how they're pretending or trying to, you know, portray to their friends, family, circle, people overseas, etc. So we may look into them another day. Alright, so I'll leave it at that, guys. I hope you enjoyed the reading today. Now I can get on with editing this again, and hopefully I'll get it out sooner for August. And yeah, just keep going, guys. I'm still very much a Waanjai. I'm not changing. I always will be a Waanjai no matter what happens, but there is definitely something. There is definitely something here worth hanging on to, worth waiting for, in my opinion. It just the phenomenon itself of all the coincidences we have between those two, the way they still have the same mannerisms, just everything about it. Everything about it. It's not worth walking away from. It doesn't cause me too much turmoil. I mean, if it does upset you, or it's you know, really damaging for you personally, absolutely you need to choose yourself and perhaps, you know, give it up. Like golf, like we say golf is possibly doing. Just walk away until things settle down. But if you're like me and you like the phenomenal coincidences and everything happening, and you believe that it's all part of the process, then yeah, I think it's worth holding on for. Anyway, I'll get going. Bye, guys.